You remember your childhood home. You remember exactly where you were when something important happened, the specific details, the light in the room, what people were wearing, what was said. You are wrong about almost all of it. Not partially wrong, not slightly off in the details. Structurally, fundamentally, neurologically wrong in ways that would disturb you deeply if you understood the mechanism producing those memories. The memories that feel most vivid and most real are frequently the ones that have been altered the most. This is not a failure of your memory. This is how memory works. And the gap between what people believe memory does and what memory actually does is one of the most significant blind spots in human self-understanding. Today, we go into the dark science of your memory, not how to improve it. The actual neuroscience of what memory is, how it gets built, how it gets changed without your awareness, and why the version of your past that you carry is a collaborative fiction between what actually happened and everything that has happened since. Almost everyone has the wrong model of how memory works. The popular understanding is storage. Something happens. The brain records it. The recording sits in storage. When you remember, you retrieve the recording. This model is intuitive. It matches subjective experience, and it is almost entirely wrong. Memory is not storage. Memory is reconstruction. Every time you remember something, you are not retrieving a fixed recording. You are rebuilding the experience from fragments, partial neural patterns, associated emotions, contextual cues, and everything you have learned and experienced since the original event. The memory is assembled fresh each time it is accessed. And each time it is assembled, it is subtly shaped by the current context, current emotional state, current beliefs, and current knowledge of the person doing the remembering. This is not a minor technical distinction. It means that every act of remembering is also an act of rewriting. The moment you access a memory, you alter it. The altered version is what gets stored back. The next time you remember, you are remembering the altered version, not the original experience. Memory does not degrade like a photograph fades. It transforms. It drifts in the direction of the person you are becoming, shaped by experiences since, colored by emotions you now associate with that period of your life. The neuroscience behind this is called memory reconsolidation. When a memory is retrieved, it enters an unstable state, a window of neurological malleability where the synaptic connections encoding it can be modified. New information encountered during this window gets incorporated into the memory before it restabilizes. What gets stored back is a blend, a revised edition, and you have no awareness that the revision occurred. This is why eyewitness testimony is one of the least reliable forms of evidence in criminal justice, a fact established through decades of research, but that continues to be treated as credible in courtrooms. The witness is not lying. They are reporting their memory accurately, but their memory is not an accurate record of what they saw. It is a reconstruction shaped by every question asked, every detail mentioned, and every conversation had since the original event. Elizabeth Loftus, the cognitive psychologist whose research has done more than anyone to document the malleability of human memory, demonstrated in landmark experiments that simply asking a question in a particular way could alter what people remembered. In one famous study, subjects who watched footage of a car accident were asked either how fast the cars were going when they hit each other or how fast they were going when they smashed into each other. The group asked with the word smashed reported significantly higher speeds, and a week later were significantly more likely to report having seen broken glass in the footage. There was no broken glass. A single word in a question asked after the event had inserted it into their memories. This is not a vulnerability in certain people. This is the standard operating mechanism of human memory. Everyone is subject to it, including you, including the memories you feel most certain about. But here is where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. The memories that define your identity, your understanding of your childhood, your relationships, your formative experiences, are all subject to this same reconstruction process. They have all been accessed hundreds of times. Each access has been a potential revision. Each revision shaped by your current emotional state, current beliefs, and current understanding of the people involved. The version of your father you remember is not your father as he was. It is your father as reconstructed through every subsequent experience, every conversation about him, every emotional state you were in when you thought about him. The version of yourself you remember from 10 years ago is not who you were. It is who you were as interpreted by who you have become. This sounds destabilizing. It is actually liberating. If memory is reconstruction rather than storage, if the past you carry is a living document rather than a fixed archive, then the relationship between your past and your present is fundamentally different from what most people assume. The wounds you carry are not objective recordings of what happened. They are current constructions about past events, constructions that can be modified and recontextualized in ways that change their present-day emotional weight without changing the factual record of what occurred. This is the neuroscientific basis for why therapeutic approaches involving reprocessing and recontextualizing memories actually work. They exploit the reconsolidation window. They access the memory in its unstable retrievable state and introduce new context, new understanding, or new emotional framing that gets incorporated into the reconstruction. The memory that gets stored back is the same event, interpreted differently. And differently interpreted, it carries different present-day weight. Now the layer most people find most surprising. False memories are memories of events that never happened. Not confused memories, not misremembered details. Complete memories, with sensory detail, emotional texture, and the full subjective feeling of remembering, of things that did not occur. And they are far more common than almost anyone believes. Elizabeth Loftus demonstrated that it is possible to implant entirely false memories using nothing more than suggestion, social reinforcement, and guided imagination. In one study, subjects were told that as children they had been lost in a shopping mall, a completely fabricated event. A significant proportion not only came to believe this had happened, but generated detailed memories of it. What the mall looked like, how they felt, who found them. Memories of something that never happened. The mechanism is identical to ordinary memory reconstruction. The brain received a suggestion. It searched for associated material. It assembled a plausible narrative from available fragments. The assembled narrative, accessed repeatedly, became consolidated. The consolidated memory became indistinguishable from a genuine one. The brain does not tag memories as real or constructed. It simply stores what was assembled. Your memory is not a camera. It is a storyteller. And like all storytellers, it edits, interprets, emphasizes, omits, and occasionally invents, always in service of the story it is currently trying to tell. Now, what does this mean practically? The first thing, epistemic humility about your own certainty. The memories you feel most certain about are not necessarily the most accurate. Certainty is a feeling. Accuracy is a factual property. They do not reliably track each other. The most confident memory is often the most rehearsed, and the most rehearsed is often the most reconstructed. The second thing, a different relationship with memories that cause you pain. The painful version of a past event you carry is not the only possible construction of that event. It is the construction assembled through a particular emotional lens. That construction is not fixed. It is not the objective record. It is one version, and versions can change without the facts changing. The third thing, a different understanding of disagreements about the past. When two people remember the same event differently, when the other person is absolutely certain something happened in a way that contradicts your equally certain memory, neither of you is necessarily lying. You may both be reporting your reconstructions accurately, and your reconstructions may both be equally distant from what actually occurred. Your memory is not betraying you when it does this. It is doing exactly what it was built to do, constructing a usable, coherent, emotionally navigable version of your past. The fact that this version is not forensically accurate is not a bug. It is the price of having a memory system flexible enough to serve a mind that is constantly changing and constantly becoming someone slightly different from who it was before. You are not remembering your past. You are constructing it, every single time. The next video goes further into the dark science of your social anxiety, the survival mechanism your brain built for a world that no longer exists, and what it costs you every time you walk into a room full of people. Stay curious. Stay informed.